What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to talk about free agent pass rusher Chandler Jones. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to tune into the channel. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. And if you would like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on my channel. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So like I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about Chandler Jones, a free agent pass rusher. There was a rumor that came out yesterday. I believe it was Jeff Schultz that put out, he put on Twitter that there is a rumor that pass rusher Chandler Jones, the Falcons are interested in possibly signing him in free agency. If the Falcons were to get any free agent during this offseason, Chandler Jones is the number one guy that I would want on our Atlanta Falcons. I don't believe it'll happen because I don't think that the Falcons, of course, have the money to afford a Chandler Jones. But if the Falcons are able to bring in one player and make one splash signing in free agency, Chandler Jones is the guy that I would want on the Atlanta Falcons. Chandler Jones is about 6'5", 265 pounds. He's an elite pass rusher. When I went and looked at Chandler Jones' stats, Chandler Jones has been in the NFL for 10 seasons, and 7 out of the 10 seasons that Chandler Jones has been in the NFL, he's had over 10 sacks or double-digit sack. Those were double-digit sack seasons. Chandler Jones is a part of the 100 sack club, meaning he does have over 100 sacks in his career. I definitely think that Chandler Jones will be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. And to me, Chandler Jones is the closest thing to Johnny Abraham or John Abraham, who played for our Atlanta Falcons years ago. The Falcons have been looking for that elite pass rusher ever since John Abraham was let go by the Falcons years ago when he went to sign with the Arizona Cardinals. But we signed him years ago from the New York Jets. And one thing I can say about Chandler Jones is he's a guy who's been consistent throughout his career as being one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. And I feel like one of the biggest mistakes that our Atlanta Falcons have made over the last couple years when we went out and signed guys, even in the past when we signed guys, is we didn't go after guys that had the track record and basically were consistent in their production. Guys like Dante Fowler, who I was a fan of, bringing to Atlanta. He's a guy in his career who's been in the league, I think, about 5 or 6 seasons. He's only had one season where he's had or 1 or 2 seasons where he had over double-digit sacks. Not like Chandler Jones, a guy who's had 7 years where he's had double-digit sacks out of the 10 years that he's been in the league. So pretty much that goes to show you that he's one of those guys that is a model of consistency. He's a guy that I think if you brought him to Atlanta, he's a guy who could be opposite of Grady Jarrett. He could be that guy who can take over a football game. And we haven't had one of those type of pass rushers since John Abraham. Chandler Jones is one of those guys you will have to double team at times on the line. You will have to chip him with running backs. You will have to chip him with tight ends. The first game of this season when they played the Tennessee Titans, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in that game. He basically took over the game for the Arizona Cardinals. And that's what's been missing from our Atlanta Falcons. We don't have that consistent guy on the edge that can take over a football game, that can put fear in a quarterback, and that also can put fear in offensive linemen. And I really think that Chandler Jones would be a great signing if the Falcons somehow can muster up enough cash to bring him to Atlanta. Now, Chandler Jones did state, or Jeff Schultz did mention in his tweet, that Chandler Jones does want to play for a contender. And out of the list of teams that I've seen on the list, the Denver Broncos is a team that kind of scares me. Out of the list that Jeff Schultz had, it was like the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Falcons, The Buffalo Bills was another team that actually scares me that was on the list because those two teams I think are ready to win now. Now that Russell Wilson just got traded to the Denver Broncos and they lost Von Miller last year, who they traded to the Rams. Those are the two teams that scare me the most in free agency as possibly being teams that could sign Chandler Jones. And I'm not too worried about the Seahawks because they no longer have Russell Wilson and they look like they're in full rebuild mode. So I doubt they try to sign a guy like Chandler Jones. But the Bills, because they were a team that made a deep playoff run last year and almost got to the AFC Championship game, they're a team that scares me because with Josh Allen and the talent that they have, I think that they're like one piece away from getting to a Super Bowl. So I could see Chandler Jones signing with them. And then also, as I mentioned, the Denver Broncos scare me as well because they have Russell Wilson and they have a really young core on the defensive side of the ball, and all they're missing is that edge rusher as well. So I hope Chandler Jones sees the Falcons as a team that's trying to win now and see the Falcons as a possible team that could compete for a Super Bowl and be a team that's, can compete in the NFC now that a lot of the quarterbacks that were in the NFC has either retired or have moved over to the AFC. I hope he sees the Falcons as a contender. But this is another reason why we always state, and I've always stated here on my channel, that you want to be a team that's competing year in and year out. Last year, when the Falcons were winning games, a lot of the fans were upset because it was affecting our draft status. But this is the reason why you don't want to tank and lose games on purpose, because when free agency rolls around, players, elite players are not going to want to come to your team if they see that you've been a team that's been tanking and look like you're in full rebuild mode. So this is the reason why you win as many games as you can. And the Falcons did that last year, and they did compete against the upper echelon teams. So hopefully Chandler Jones sees the Falcons as a possible landing spot, and hopefully the Falcons somehow can muster up, even if it's a 1-year deal where they give him, as much as the money that we have in free agency as possible. I would do whatever we could if we could bring in a guy like Chandler Jones, because he's been a guy that I've been targeting for the Falcons for a really long time. And I definitely think that he's a culture changer type player. He has that X factor ability to come off the edge. He would be a great guy. Even if we do sign Chandler Jones, I still think the Falcons should draft one of the top edge rushers at 8. But if you can bring in a Chandler Jones, he could be a guy that can help teach a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau the tricks of the trade. He could teach the David Ajabos of the world. He could help teach the Jermaine Johnsons of the world. And you guys know how I do on my channel. I believe in strength in numbers when it comes to rushing the passer. I believe in having as many pass rushers on your team as possible and having as many guys on the defensive line that can affect the game as possible. So with that being said, you guys let me know what you think about Chandler Jones. I definitely think that Chandler Jones would be a great pickup for our Atlanta Falcons, would definitely be one of the best free agent signings since I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan, which I've been a fan for over 20 years now. But I definitely think if we somehow can get him to come to Atlanta, I think it will bode well for our Falcons, especially for us possibly being contenders in the NFC. But with that being said, this has been your boy Jew. You guys let me know what you think of the video. But with that being said, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Leave your comments below and let me know what you feel about Chandler Jones. If you think the Falcons should go after him. But with that being said, I'll holler at you guys in the next video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.